Yo, what's up, guys? Let's just do that there. All right. Thank you for tuning in to this fourth module. So, we've kind of talked about like everything I'd say. We've talked about magic pills, we've talked about setting your goal, we have talked about system, creating your own car, and now what we're missing is the last piece, is the fuel for the car. And that last piece is motivation. Now we get asked a lot about motivation. We get asked like, what is motivation? How do you stay motivated, and stuff like that. And I'll try to do my best to kind of explain what motivation is and how you create it, and what's good about motivation and what's bad about motivation. So, what is motivation? So, motivation is this weird, non tangible resource that we sometimes have. And when we have it, it's easier for us to go from A to B, right? When we're motivated, we have an easier time doing the things we want to do. And when we're demotivated, we have a harder times doing those things. Now, the motivation, the word itself, comes from the Latin word, as you can see here, movere, and it's pretty similar to the English word to move or movement. So I just thought I'd put that in there. So, like, I think it's a great way to remember what motivation is. It's something that helps us to move from A to B. And I'll get back to why the name is also important in terms of how you create motivation. Now, motivation has its ups and downs, and we all know that, right? One day we're really motivated, and the next day or the next second we can be really demotivated. And you can kind of see motivation as waves, like as this little wave down here, right? We have our ups and downs, and when we have our ups, we have an easier time doing or getting from A to B, and when we have our downs, it's harder for us to do. And because we have the downs, you could say, it's also a very bad factor to rely on when you want to get things done, because you shouldn't really rely on something that can have a negative impact on you when you want to do something in life, right? Imagine if you only showed up to work when you're motivated, or you only go to the gym when you're motivated. If you rely on motivation in order to get those things done, you'll never really get them done, right? You'll never really go to motivation. You won't really go to work. I think work is a bad example because you need the money, and that's why you go, even though you're demotivated. But training is a good example, right? If you only go to the gym when you're motivated, you won't really go that often. So don't rely on motivation. Try to do something else when you're demotivated, and that can be these two other things. For example, there's probably some other things out there as well I'm not aware about, but I like these two. One of them is accountability, and it can come in two forms. They're pretty similar, but one of them is public accountability, and that's when you're kind of telling your coworkers, your friends, your family, people around you about your goals, right? Like, let's say you talk about going to the gym today to your coworkers, and I'll see you up at the gym and stuff like that. Then you are having a harder time skipping gym because now people know that you're gonna go and you don't want to lose face to them. The next one is having a deal with a partner. Can be your friend you're going to have a deal with every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You go to the gym, right? Having that deal sets you up to be more accountable, because you don't want to make a deal and not show up to your friend at the gym, because then you'll look like a douchebag, right? So that's one of the things. Another thing you can do if you're demotivated but you still have to do something is set the start bar very low. So make it easier for yourself to go to the gym or do X or do Y. And we already talked about this in the previous modules, right? Instead of saying to yourself you have to work out for 2 hours every day or something, then try to reduce that bar and turn the boat around and say, instead of 2 hours I can just work out half an hour or 20 minutes those days when you're demotivated, because motivation is not something you create on a whim, on a get-go. Is a result of doing, right? It's something you foster. It's not something you can just, you can't just press on a button or turn on a switch and then suddenly you're motivated. I mean, I wish we could. That would be awesome for all of us, but it's not reality. So motivation is a result of doing, and that's also why making a system that has a very low entry point becomes very handy, because once you start that activity or that behavior, it suddenly becomes way easier to do more of it. It's kind of like a little snowball or domino effect, right? Once you do that little first thing that gives you a little bit of energy, a little bit of motivation, then suddenly you have energy and motivation to do more of it. So motivation, it's not something you can create instantly. It's something you foster through habits, through routine, through systems. So that's pretty much motivation in a little nutshell. And I have 3 takeaways from this module. And the first one is write the motivation when it's there and accept when it's not there. Because we all have those days when we're not motivated. And fact is, the faster you can accept that you're not motivated, the faster you will actually like come over to the other side and be happy and become motivated once you accept that, hey, right now I'm not motivated, instead of keep searching for the motivation, instead of keep trying to trigger it, because you can't do it, because it's like reverse psychology, right? If you keep searching for something, you implicitly or you automatically tell yourself that it's not something you have, right? For example, happiness. If you keep searching for happiness, it must mean that you're not happy enough. If you keep trying to search for motivation, it must mean you're not motivated. So the faster you can accept it, the faster you'll actually get it. The next key takeaway is stop relying on motivation to get things done. Instead, make yourself accountable, or create a system that's easy to follow on days when you're demotivated. And I guess this key takeaway kind of says it itself. Like, when you're not motivated, instead of relying on that, then rely on other things that works, such as being accountable or creating a system that gets you going even on days where you don't feel like it. And the last one is motivation occurs when you start. So again, try to set your start bar very low. Try to get things going in the start, and usually you make room for a lot more bonus repetitions. And by bonus repetitions, I mean just extra stuff of what you want to do more of. So let's take gym as an example again. Instead of saying 2 hours, you say 10 minutes. And let's say you get started and you suddenly get a taste of it, you get motivated, then you suddenly have room for extra repetitions, maybe another extra 10 minutes or another extra 4 sets on the bench press or something like that, because motivation comes when you start. So there you have it, guys. That's motivation in a nutshell. I hope you liked it. Now, tomorrow, I'm gonna be dead honest. Tomorrow is not gonna be a video about. No, let me say that differently. Tomorrow's video will not be like a knowledgeable video as you've seen the past 4 times. Tomorrow is gonna be more of an offer that me and Mike are gonna give you. If you still feel like this whole fitness jungle, this whole journey of losing weight is still a bit hard, maybe you need some accountability, some tangible guidelines, something like that, then me and Mike are gonna give you a one-time offer, which is only in tomorrow's email, and you will not see it ever again. So I hope you enjoyed these 4 videos. I hope you've learned a lot. And that's it pretty much. Thank you, and catch you in tomorrow's video. Bye.